Hello and welcome. This is Livestream with Restream, and we are super excited to see everyone. Our Wednesday live Q&A. Hello, Matt. How are you doing today?
Hey, Anya. So good to be here. Really excited for this one. How you doing?
This is a big one. Yes, we're super excited because today we're talking about something that we've been building for a while, and we are so thrilled to share and demonstrate it for you. And that is streaming to Slack. That is creating really professional broadcasts for your all hands meetings, town halls, and any other internal communications using the power of Restream Studio. By the way, if you're new to Restream, I'm Anya with Restream Marketing, and Matt is a product lead on this specific feature. So we're the best people to ask any questions. We're going to demonstrate a ton of things and little nuances and little tricks how you can make this whole thing work. So please bring your questions to us today. And if you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. That really helps us to see that what we do is useful. We put a lot of love in the show, so every subscription matters. If you're watching us somewhere else, today we're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and X. If you're watching us somewhere else, consider giving us a follow, a like, and a little, comment. Also, we're live on Slack. Subscribe. But Slack is internal, so folks who are watching in Slack, they kind of know us. Speaking of that, we would like to kick this off with a quick question. Do you guys use Slack at work? And if not, what else do you use? Of course, Slack is an internal communications tool. It's basically like a quick chat where you create channels and you can structure the internal conversations, updates, and just communication within your team. Super essential for folks who are working remote, for global teams, for large teams where people cannot physically be in one office. We've been using Slack since Restream started. I would say when I joined 8.5 years ago, it was already running on Slack. So I know that that's for the most people, it's a preferred tool for tech companies. But of course, there are other ways. So please let us know, how do you communicate to your coworkers? Like if you need to send people an update, where do you use? And while we are collecting your first answers, I'm going to just display this whole chat here because there's a lot of good stuff in there. Just to acknowledge some of our viewers today. Circuits FM says, good morning. FYI, I'm a Slack on this one. Okay, that sounds good. Good morning from Portland, Oregon, says Grant. He's our moderator today. This is awesome. Have a good one. Also, I love San Francisco from Hungary. That's amazing. We love San Francisco. Actually, none of us is in San Francisco currently. That's a Charles thing, but I'm based in Austin, Texas, and you are in?
I'm based in Prague, the heart of Europe.
Absolutely, not that far from Hungary. Sacramento, okay, hi. And there are some Slack comments too. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see them on overlay. Here we go. This was Matt testing, watching from Slack. I was like, can we get one Slack comment, please? I just want to see how it looks. And it looks actually pretty beautiful. Has your little avatar and has the Slack icon. Becca says hello from North Carolina. Pretty cool whoa, that's our Theowars Rob from X. And we have Circuits FM again. Hello from the Circuit Verse. That's awesome. Hi. Charles says hi from Slack. This is such a great feature. And hello from a fellow Austinite from Really Fantastic on YouTube. How do you do this? Says Albichuk, our head of product. You should know that. You should know that. But this is, and there's hello from Michigan from Shirley Wig Shop. Awesome. It's really good to see you guys. Please keep, let us know what you use to communicate with your coworkers, right? Is it Slack? Is it something else? And we are going to go ahead and introduce our main topic today. So this is streaming to Slack. Matt, how do you feel about it? Is it the moment you've been waiting for a long time?
Pretty much, yeah. This has been a long time coming, I would say. So, oftentimes when we run internal meetings, and I'm talking like company monthly or training sessions, it's always a question, where is the best place to run these? Sometimes you would use Zoom, and we also tried our own studio some time ago. We also tried lots of different tooling, but essentially people are always on Slack. That's where they hang out. That's where they write each other. That's where they react to updates. And this always just felt as a natural place to meet live for these updates and engage with one another. and also be able to like watch the whole thing if you missed it. Personally, I always like to, when I come from vacation, I like to kind of revisit these big updates. But if they happened on Zoom or somewhere, and then you need to like dig up the password and like go somewhere to watch it, I would rarely do it. So nowadays, we actually do it on Slack. And today we're going to tell you how that's possible. Because for a long time, we didn't have a way to deliver a stream in the quality or in the almost like real-time, no latency kind of way to Slack. But we found a way to make it work. And finally, we're like ready to share that with the world. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, this is crazy cool. You know what? I was testing something on YouTube, which is called YouTube Polls. So it's only on YouTube, but I started a poll with the same question. Do you use Slack for work? Yes or no? And we got 14 votes so far, 1-4. And it is exactly somehow 50-50. 50% yes, 50% no. So since this is only for YouTube, we encourage people to drop in chat as a comment. Like, yes, I use Slack. Yes, no, I don't. I use something else. And if something else, then what? Because that will kind of like help us to assess the situation. But so far, it looks like 50% of people who are watching right now on YouTube are in Slack, and other 50% are using something else. I do also have a quick kind of like personal attachment to this feature. I always thought that at Restream, at least, the internal meetings, the town halls and all hands are kind of like they're kind of like a big deal events for us. So we prepare for them. We actually create like interesting decks. Sometimes we add a lot of humor to that, especially when we introduce new team members, we onboard people, we celebrate anniversaries. We say happy birthday for people who were born in August. Like all of this stuff is kind of like a whole thing at Restream. And historically, it was always done through like some elaborate presentation work, which doesn't always work, and that creates a lot of technical issues for people. But most importantly, people who are watching all hands meeting, who are asked from all over the world to join the specific call, that's kind of like a big thing, right? To like make it has to be exciting. It cannot just be a punishment. It cannot be just like some kind of a chore that you have to sit through. And what I noticed, which sometimes it is, like all hands meetings can be super, super boring. But that's not how Restream sees it. For us, again, all hands is an event. It is a live show because we're a live streaming company. And this is something to consider, like an invitation, I guess, to whatever business you're in. When we first started testing Slack, that old version of Slack that had latency, that had like 30-second delay between the moment when something was announced and like the chats could react, or like even people who were watching it could actually see it. Still, when we were sending this all hands meetings and town halls in Slack, the level of engagement that I noticed was like off the roof. Like I've never seen people throwing so much fire, rockets, gifs, humorous like internal jokes that nobody would understand, because people feel comfortable, right? Like if that was streamed even on YouTube, even on unlisted private space, right, or some kind of a group, even if that was a webinar link, let's say, where people could join, right? Like people would not feel that comfortable as they feel at home, which is their Slack channel, right? So I thought that was an interesting kind of thing to consider. If you are struggling to engage your community, your team, your company, your people in conversations, updates, company announcements, maybe some demo days if you're demonstrating some products and features, maybe it's just some kind of like something that would be considered boring, like business meeting quarterly updates and stuff like that. Introducing chat, Slack emojis, Slack conversations can truly take this to the next level. To me, it was a revolution in terms of how even engineering teams and developers who are usually pretty quiet on those conversations and calls were like all in, engaged, dropping things in the chat. And hosts could see it and could react to it. So it was like a completely different level of experience. It felt like everyone is in the same room. And it's also a relaxed kind of like, I don't know, all hands with beers, like that kind of level of like, fun. So yeah, that is what we experienced there. I see that there are a few more comments here.
How's it looking?
It looks great. I love how folks are, testing stuff. Okay, this is good. How do emojis and reactions look in chat? Well, they have this rocket and face was raised eyebrow react thing. So we got to fix that. That's something for us to consider. Woohoo from Lawson, and yeah, test from Alex. Hi, it's working. See, it's totally working. So how does it work? We will let Charles take it away.
Now, professionally produced, high-quality live streams go direct to your Slack colleagues, contacts, and communities. Sure, Restream multi-streams to all your social platforms, but you can now have a closed-door stream on Slack, where work happens, as they say. All the tools and features remain the same, including co-hosts, guests, screen sharing, custom layouts, graphics, and effortless chat. The chat actually is brilliant, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. First, we need to connect a Slack channel and go live. From inside the studio or here on the home screen, go to Channels and add New. Choose Slack and allow Restream to connect to the workspace that you need. Allow the permissions. You can see that I've already connected a couple of Slack channels, but I'll add this one that I made earlier. And now here inside the studio, I can add that channel just as I would any other destination and then go live. When the stream starts, a post simply drops in Slack, where people can view it like any other file. No downloads or logins or messing around with accounts. And any replies that they make will show up as chat in the studio, meaning you can read and respond to comments and take questions without needing to switch between Slack and Restream. And of course, you can bring these messages up on screen, keeping the conversation flowing both ways and viewable as a thread under the replay for anyone that could not make it there live. You are going to love how simple it is to produce all kinds of slick and engaging leadership AMAs, team training, business updates, company all hands, demo days, onboarding, big announcements, and so much more. And best of all, your colleagues won't have the friction or distraction of having to leave Slack. Trial it free right now. Cheers.
We will have that trial link for you in the end of the show, so stick around for that. You actually do not necessarily need it. If you are already a Restream user, you can simply log into Restream and click the Create New button, and then there will be an option to New Stream, and you can actually start creating the webinar-like internal comms stream. And if you go to your channels, you can connect Slack as one of your destinations, which is actually the next thing we wanted to show you. So this is how you would add Slack as a destination.
Exactly. So in here, you can just basically connect any Slack workspace and then see the list of your public channels. And there's even a way to actually connect a private channel. So if you just install the Restream app in that private channel, so basically first add some public channel, then go to any private channel and just go into the apps that are allowed. Maybe use Linear or Claude. Those could be different types of apps. So you would just add Restream as well. And once you do, your private channels would also show up here when you connect Slack. So you can add as many Slack channels as you like this way. And then I think, we will also show you how you basically stream to that channel specifically. So in your sort of webinar setup, you need to make sure that this specific Slack channel is connected, and then you just press go live. It's, and, I think you'll find it quite useful that even if you have created a new channel, like today, for example, you can always go and add a new one, a new one, a new one, wherever you want the stream to land.
I also find search pretty helpful because in Restream, we're crazy about channels, and we create a channel for everything, for every conversation, for every new feature, for every new launch, for your mom, for your dog, there's a channel. So sometimes just searching by keywords is super helpful because that's how I was able to find my super obscure channels. So especially once we introduce the private ones, obviously the number of channels to potentially stream into increased, and that is a good way to find what you're looking for. We also have an option to schedule your stream. So I guess, I don't know if that's a question yet because I'm not looking at the questions tab right now. If you ask that, we will definitely call it out. But one of the things that you probably would want to know is like, okay, all hands is something that I want people to know about in advance, right? Like I cannot just blast my all company meeting or even marketing team or product and marketing sync into the oblivion, hoping that people just see the message and like jump in. So there is a way to schedule. Let's have a look how that works. So here we go. From any studio, you can basically click schedule. You can title it, and you can then create a cool thumbnail, something that you typically won't have in like other platforms like Zoom. Like your Zoom meeting is just a link, sometimes a very long one. Here you can actually create a little visual of what this meeting is going to be about. And you select time and date, and then basically after you confirm schedule, it appears as a post in your Slack. And in there, you even have a little link that allows you to add it to calendar, which is super handful for people who are, who run off the calendar.
So the way we were thinking about this is that we don't know how your team operates, whether you're a planner or you're just a doer. So if you're planning ahead, you can always add title, description, a thumbnail, and schedule it for a specific time. If you are running these monthly meetings, let's say every Monday at 9 a.m. Or any time, you can just post them, and this way your colleagues can add it to the calendar. You can of course copy the link and sort of add it to their calendar as well, but they can do it again where work happens from Slack. And if you are not in a scheduling mood, you can just start immediately, and the stream will just like land in Slack at that particular time. So it's really up to you whether you want to schedule it ahead or go live right away.
Yeah, which is great because yes, not every meeting has to be scheduled. Not every meeting involves a lot of people. You might have like a very small group that wants to talk, and even that can be done in super high quality with great production, with great visuals, and all the opportunities of the studio. We do have a lot of internal questions today. So there's a question from Alex. He's asking, quick question: when can we ship multi-channel selection from Slack? Do we have a?
Yeah, I think it's coming very soon. So right now, like with our new webinar mode, you can stream to one Slack channel. But we know maybe you want to run a specific meeting in 2 private channels, for example, which would be possible, or even if with 2 public channels, it of course would be possible as well. And I think we can push it so far. I don't know whether that would be useful, but you could actually connect different workspaces. So for
that was
example,
my question. I was going to ask you that.
I know some companies, for example, have Slack for internal comms, but also they have Slack community for some of their customers. This is especially cool for like product launches. So if you want to like stream that internally and maybe like talk about an early preview or like a beta kind of release, you could do that directly to like a general channel in your company, but also maybe to a different like Slack workspace. So we're working towards to add multiple channels to make this possible very soon.
I love the workspace use case because yes, one is communities, because a lot of people have like beta testers, early access folks, influencers in different workspaces where they could also create updates and demo days. That's also super useful for even like internal stuff, like onboarding people, onboarding vendors. Sometimes, at least at Restream, we work with some vendors like agencies, maybe like advertising, creative, who have their own Slack. And sometimes you could have an update from Restream that you could push to a few different vendors, like on creative side of things or on SEO side of things. And then you can basically connect different channels, including the Slack workspaces where you are a guest. So that would be an interesting thing to explore and experience. Lawson says, lol, the notification sound in Slack made me jump. I know, me too. Because like it's just it's so ingrained that like it's a message. It's important. Pretty cool features. It is true. It is pretty impressive what is going on. And there's hi from Wisconsin. Awesome. Good to see you guys. All right, so scheduling and multiple workspaces or multiple channels is covered. How do streams start? How does it look in Slack when you created an event. So it looks pretty cool. We already showed you how like the post appears if you want to add it to channel, but basically the same exact view that you have in your studio or something that you will see on channels like YouTube or X will simply appear in your Slack space, right? You can watch it and you can also start a thread and start commenting. And I think in Charles's video, there was this really important point, like how it is important to keep the conversation in one place, right? Because when people are working in Slack and then they're asked to leave Slack to go to Zoom and have a meeting there, and then there are some comments and potentially questions and follow-ups and maybe even clarifications in Zoom, and then that becomes a recording, but the recording doesn't necessarily feature chat because that's a separate document that you can potentially download, but only an admin can do that. So it becomes like this like really complicated thing. Versus here, the beauty of it is you can watch it. You can watch a replay, which we will definitely cover a little bit later in more detail. And you can see the whole thread right under the video, like you would on any social channel, right? Like if you watch this on X or if you watch that on YouTube, you can just go through all the comments and chats in there. So very cool for keeping things together and very accessible.
I also wanted to add that it actually works both ways. So, right now we've been showing you how people who are actually currently watching this live stream in our Slack workspace, they're already commenting, and we're live receiving those chat messages, and we can show them on screen like I just did. But also it works the other way. So if we post a reply, they will actually see it in the thread. So if any of the co-hosts in Restream Studio posts a comment, it travels back into Slack. So this way, the conversation is not just among the audience, but also with the host and co-hosts really is in one linear thread that I find pretty cool.
I find it super cool too, because it's you can, especially if you're watching a replay, you can immediately see like the context, right? And sometimes you might want to first check this conversation got, and then you can basically from there, you can maybe like watch it on like faster speed and catch up, especially if you were not available for the live event itself. You probably noticed that little call-in button. Do you want to talk about that? Are we ready for it?
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. So what is the call-in button? What does it do?
I think I should actually preface this a little bit with our webinar solution. So one of the reasons why like streaming to Slack is now possible is with our new webinar mode. Currently with Restream, you can actually leverage the power of Restream Studio, but you can build a webinar type of event that is ideal for these internal use cases. So if you go to Restream and click New Stream, create a new webinar, that's the ideal place where you would want to run these meetings. It looks very much like the typical Restream Studio, so it has all of the functionality to make it beautiful, but it's actually tailor-made for like these real-time streams, whether you want to deliver them on the web, which we'll talk about sometimes in the near future, or directly to Slack. And once we've sort of unlocked this webinar streaming mode, we very quickly realized that this is perfect to like move our integration with Slack to the next level, because we know that chat really needs to be real time. Like when you send a comment, it is always a reaction to something that's currently said on screen. And since under the hood this works with the new Restream webinar mode, we added a feature that's pretty known to folks that run webinar shows or like these sort of internal comps, and that's calling in. So the webinar as a media should not be just passive experience of watching someone talk to you or at you, but rather like having the possibility and ability to join them live on stage. And that's where the call-in button stands. So basically, in Restream, on any webinar event, you can just enable this. You basically allow the viewers to call in. If this is allowed, the Slack post has the call-in button, and you can just click it. I think in here, in here, the one toggle above scheduling time. So you would just like enable the call-in. Now, if we go back to the Slack post, when you basically click call in, you will open a browser and you'll be able to join the webinar as a guest with your camera and microphone. And this is exactly how it looks like. So in this case, Alex is calling in from our Slack. In his browser, he just like fills in a couple of information and maybe a question for the host. So the host knows who's calling in and what would they like to talk about and when is the right time to talk about it. And then we'll show you how it looks like when they send that request. So I think we're ready to
we're ready to move to the what hosts see. Just a quick comment here from Lawson. Says, look, Ma, I'm on Restream product launch. That's what you can do if you're calling in and jumping in from your conversation. That is awesome. All right. So what do we see when Alex or Lawson want to be on Restream product launch? This is our view. We basically, just like in any studio when guest joins, we get a little notification that tells us that someone is trying to join, and then we can admit them. The cool thing is that we can actually see the question that they want to ask. It's great for control of the narrative, right? Like especially if it's a all hands meeting, like you can like understand like if this is the best time to bring in this person with this question, with this topic, or maybe someone else should go first. And it also gives us time to prepare. While Matt and I are very trained to take questions live from all over the map, a lot of people prefer to have a little like a moment to like get ready for the question. So it gives you this opportunity to read what exactly people want to talk about, and maybe you need a prop to show. To illustrate your point, maybe you just need to figure out who's going to be the best person to answer, or kind of like go into that direction. But this is the option.
And let's stay on this for a little bit. So basically, we heard and we've experienced that Slack has an ability to set up some sort of calls, the Slack huddles, for example. I think you can have up to 50 people in that room together. But for some companies that have higher sort of headcount than that, like us at Restream, it simply doesn't cut it. We want to involve everybody. And with our take on like internal streaming, this is possible in two ways. So not only can we stream to much bigger audiences. Right now, we can stream even like to hundreds and thousands of people if you need. But also, we can have up to 10 people on the stage together. So 10 co-hosts can be, or guests can be talking to each other on stage, and the co-host sees or can manage all of that. So right now, you can see on this particular video that it was Anya and Charles. Alex is calling in. But it could have been 7 more people like trying to call in, actually even more. But then it's just up to the host to let them in and let them in at the right moment. So as a host, you can even have them sort of lined up. You can just accept their request. They become a guest, but they're still like kind of waiting backstage. And when is the right moment to bring them on? Maybe it's their section to present, or the time for their question just has come. That's when you would just like enable them. So in this is the first step that we're just like accepting the request. I think if we fast forward through the video in here, 1 second. Yes. So right now, like you can see that Alex is already a guest. He's still backstage, so he's not shown on screen just yet. And then when we play the rest of the video, suddenly he just joins and he can talk with Anya and Charles, and everybody watching in Slack can see him and hear him live.
Yeah, really good stuff. Awesome. Keep adding your questions. We see a lot of comments from our internal team in Slack. Just know, guys, whatever you post in Slack right now in marketing channel, we see that.
It's going to stay there.
It's going to stay there. Actually, I had a question about analytics for you, since you're also the lead for analytics. Will the chats from Slack appear in the chat from analytics, like basically chat replay, chat transcript? side or not yet?
So we're working to support full analytics for webinars, just as we do for any other Restream event. Currently, as you can maybe see in this video, you can already see the people who are watching live and the chat that is live. And very soon, I think like in matter of days, if not weeks, you will basically be able to see the analytics report of the event that has happened. And the same thing goes for chat. So
Awesome.
please, stay tuned for that, because we will, I think, not only bring you the visibility into the viewers, but also into chat, and also from which channel those chat messages were coming from. So this way you can kind of close the loop. Not only everything stays in Slack, you have the video there for replay and the chat itself, but also you will have it in Restream. So if you want to, analyze it, export it, do other things with it, maybe repurpose the stream as another video, you can do that as well. So it's kind of in both places.
Super important for hosts or for the team that runs those internal comms, right? Like to be able to analyze, to see trends, like what kind of questions people ask, who is the most active commentator in the internal comms, what questions maybe we skipped and didn't answer, maybe we can follow up with people directly, like all kinds of opportunities if you have that whole chat transcript for any internal and internal conversation. Slack continues to be our most active chat. What's wrong with you people? Like keep asking us questions on YouTube and X. This is the reason why we don't do this internally only. We share this with everybody. Idea from Lawson: show the Slack reactions to messages in the on-stream overlay when highlighting a message. I like this a lot. So basically, if this comment that Lawson made, because in Slack you can add reactions, like a little emojis, right, to every comment in the thread. So let's say this specific comment had a lot of rockets or fire, like that would appear as well on screen. I think this is really brilliant. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah. I think like some time ago we were using like a plus icon, like when somebody raises a question and more people want to ask the same question or a similar one, to show like it should come up on stream. Yeah, I think like it's a great idea. Also, one thing that we're actually using right now is pinning comments in chat on our side as hosts. So we see all the comments combined from all the destinations, but we can still like pick those that are either coming more frequently, are similar, or those that are relevant. And this way we know what to ask. I'm pretty sure that like other webinar solutions don't have this level of control over like what comes through the chat. So it's pretty nice that you can never lose any comment and just show it at the right time.
Yeah, that's lovely. There are more questions in the chat that I really like, but they are a little bit more related to use cases that we are going to discuss next. So what is this all about, right? Like what are some examples? Like, so we talked a lot about all hands meetings and internal communications, but why should we do that in Slack, right? Like why should we use Studio to produce those specific events, right? Like, of course, you could potentially use Huddle, you could potentially use Zoom. There's so many different ways to meet internally. And there's a question here from Willie: do more guests mean more bandwidth? So I'm just going to go to just like some of the use cases that we wanted to cover today. So of course, internal comms is kind of the most important and the most typical, like company town halls, updates, and so on and so forth. And we do have several creators and teams and companies that already use Restream Studio for production in Slack, because it's very important for them to deliver high quality production, great video, a lot of branding choices, and just have a lot more flexibility when they bring in guests, when they share screens, when they play videos, when they show images, when there's like dynamic and interactive content that appears in company announcements. But of course, there are other use cases. And the question of does it mean more guests? The answer is certain limitations that Huddle calls have, right? So if you use Huddle in Slack, you are limited to 50 participants. And that applies not only to people on screen, that applies to anyone who can be part of that conversation altogether, right? Versus at Restream, with internal communications, we can go up to 10,000, right? Like, so the current self-service limit is actually 1,000, right? I believe. But if you need
500.
more,
The
500.
current self-service is 500.
Right.
So for folks who want to try that right away, they can pick from sort of 2 tiers to have up to 100 views, 100 viewers or attendees at the same time, or up to 500. And if you are in a bigger organization, with a couple thousand people, we can service that too. So if that's your case, please reach out and we'll set you up.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, it does mean more guests. It does mean more attendees. It does mean more people who can participate in your content. And because call in, as we showed it earlier, let's just go back to that for a second. Call in is similar to guests. So there is a rotation, people who can jump in, and then you can pull them into the conversation, and then they leave the studio. That also gives you a lot more opportunity. So if you have 10 or 15 or 20 people who want to participate in the conversation, want to ask something, want to make a comment, want to maybe even showcase something that they're working on, if it's a demo day or an update or announcement for the company, that is all possible. Versus in Huddle, you do have that limitation of 50 at whatever you want to do. So yeah, definitely big unlock in terms of bandwidth, and definitely means more guests if you have larger teams. Good questions. All right. There are more questions in the chat, so we are going to take them. I'm just trying to figure out where we should park our should we just find
maybe on the use case that you had there. I think
on the use
talk
case
a little bit more about that as well. Yeah.
Of course. So the use cases right here. So yeah, we talked about Huddle. Of course, there are some other examples of things that you can do within Slack, like what you can send from Studio into Slack. Could be town halls, could be leadership updates, strategic meetings, business results, could be product announcements. If you are trying to share how something works, even in an event like this one where we demonstrate how Slack works, take questions, take ideas from the team. Streaming this event into Slack is a good idea because that engages the whole community. And we will continue showcasing the comments from our team because people are jumping in and they're literally commenting and asking questions that normally we don't always see that much engagement on YouTube and on X as we see in our internal Slack. So that's actually a really interesting case because you can stream to Slack internally and externally to YouTube. But what we're doing right now is kind of like a unique combination of something that happens internally for our team only and externally for everyone who is interested in learning how to stream on Slack and how to run internal comms. So that's another kind of use case. If you have an update and you want to share it with the world, but you also want to share it with your team, and you really want them to watch because it's well produced, it has great visuals, it has great tutorials and guides. Adding that Slack channel becomes this additional source of engagement and communication with your internal teams. But of course, there are onboardings, there are celebrations, company events, onboarding of vendors. That's actually something that Shopify does a lot. They were early adopters of high production and high quality streams in their internal communications. That's why we're using them as an example here. And I was just going to show you an example here of how their product updates look, right? So this is something that they streamed both internally and externally. So you see that there are certain layouts. There's a lot of dynamic and visually engaging content. There are 4 speakers. They are aligned in a specific way. They have their Shopify right here. Let me see if I can, right there. A Shopify logo right next to live, right? So it's branded. It's it stays on brand. It stays within the company, but it's also broadcasted to YouTube because it is an important update that they are doing. It's kind of like a quarterly, new product launch, new series of products that they announced, and they did it both internally in Slack and externally on their major channels. So really different level of production. It's really beautiful. The Renaissance update was really pretty. I love that. Yeah, very cool. So there are more questions from our community and from our Slack. So I would love to take some of the comments because this is why we are here, right? To have a conversation with our viewers. So Circuits FM says, "Believe me, I'm not slacking. I'm just listening." This is amazing. And cut me some slack, please. I know Slack is such a great name. There is another idea from Lawson. Allow sorting in Studio by reactions. If a comment has a lot of fire, it sorts higher in the chat.
Yeah.
or like
Again,
plus signs or thumbs up.
we need to bring in the emoji, and then it will just move up. By the way, you can already reorder chat messages in the chat, so we'll just kind of do it for you. I think it's a great idea.
I think the idea is to automate it just by the reaction. So
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
if you're doing internal comms and like a bunch of people plus or thumbed up the comment, like it just immediately pops up. I love this. This is really good because especially if it's a very busy chat, right? Like you have a lot of questions and you have limited time, you cannot answer them all. So you have to choose what the public wants to hear about the most. Good stuff. I love it. Another question also from internal, from our Slack. Would it be possible to have the stream running while checking between channels and DMs? Great question from someone who does copywriting. you have to check a lot of things at the same time. Would that work? Would you be able to watch and actually check other channels?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. I've never. So, folks, if you are in chat right now, in Slack right now, can you please open another channel and see what happens to our show? Can you still hear Anya and Matt? If you do, let us know in the chat because I have not tested that one yet. Usually, because when I'm watching and when I was testing, I was super engaged with the features.
Yeah,
but
you
I'm
would
curious.
kind of need to have the thread opened. I think with the video. This could be a Slack limitation. So one thing to work around it is to probably use Slack in the browser. But if you're using it on your desktop, which most people are, you would probably need to find a way how to sort of pin the thread while opening other DMs and channels. But this is a great idea. It would be sort of like a radio in the background, still like kind of playing as picture in picture.
Yes, because I think a lot of people expect that because that's how a lot of platforms work, right? Like if you're watching something on YouTube and then you moved out of that tab, you have that little preview in the corner of your laptop.
Like picture in picture.
Exactly, picture in picture. So that allows you to use to watch videos on YouTube or on X as a podcast. So you're basically just listening and you're not necessarily watching and you're doing something else. So we definitely should consider adding that as an option. I love that. Does this mean that you can stream privately to only a Slack community? We did touch a little bit on community, but let's take this one more time. Yes, you can. If you have a Slack group that is exclusively for your beta testers, influencers, fans, early adopters, your best friends who are building something together, you can create events with studio superpowers and high production quality and send it just there. I think this is an interesting, so there is a follow-up here. Can you stream to external connection channels in Slack? Oh, okay, that's a good question. Do we? Is that possible? External connections mean that someone who joined Slack who is not part of the team. Let's say like if you're like a consultant or if you're a vendor, so you basically, you know how like in Slack you appear as, you don't have like the team little circle, you have like a little square.
Yeah.
So you're an external connection.
It depends on the permissions to the channel. So if that person is just like in a particular public or private channel and the stream appears there, they should see it.
Yes, but I think, so that's a completely different question, but to the point of streaming privately, that does mean that you can potentially monetize that, right? Like if you have like some specific paid access for people to your Slack community, like that's yet another way to gate your content and to potentially charge for it.
It's like Patreon, right?
Yeah, except it's already in Slack where you work.
Exactly. So if you engage with like private communities and deliver special content to them and don't necessarily want to stream that to your other platforms for some reason, this is how you get it done. So you just use the webinar mode that kind of is ideal and purpose-built for like closed and private events.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool use case scenario, says Regis Geek 4575. So coming back to sorting and like basically prioritizing questions based on comments and reactions to the question, you can already do it, but it's a bit tricky. You can click the dots and then click open the browser window and open the thread in a new window. And then there's also a comment from Alex that you can sort whatever and however using AI Copilot just by giving it prompts.
I think it's two different reactions.
Yeah.
So the first one from Lawson was like how to get it done to have the video kind of keep playing on the background while you still, while you still like keep working. And the idea from Alex is that basically we could automate how to pick the best comments, I believe, that appear and that appear in Slack. So not just based on emoji reactions, but also maybe based on some sentiment with AI that they would move higher up in the Restream chat, so you could put them on screen. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. Circuits FM, I appreciate watching Restream's continuing improvement publicly and continuing conversations with customers and viewers. Yeah, that's really, really amazing to hear. Thank you so much. And yeah, a lot of this updates and things are designed to update your internal teams as well as update your communities. So that's what you can do in Restream Studio. Great question here from Technical Media. Is the experience same between Slack on the web and in Slack application? Oh, I don't know the answer to that. Do you? Is it similar?
I think it depends on your preference, but the stream lands there in both ways. And since we just talked about this particular case, can I watch the stream and also like keep working in other channels? Yeah. The browser would make it very possible. So in one tab, you open the stream, in another browser tab, you keep doing your work in Slack, and this way it will probably like definitely you'll hear the audio, and with some browsers it should even show the picture-in-picture. So that depends up to your browser, of course. But the viewer's experience is identical. So you see the video live as it happens, and you can engage with chat.
Do you need a paid version of Slack for this to work, or will free version work as well?
No, it works also with free version of Slack.
I believe so, yeah. So you do need an add-on from Restream in order to be able to stream to Slack, but your Slack plan doesn't really matter, whether you're a small team or you have like a giant enterprise plan, or even a free version. Yeah, as long as you go through the steps to connect it, which we showed earlier, and we can actually come back to that real quick. So how you add the channel for those people who are new, who just joined us right now, that's the process of adding channel. So in order to unlock this channel, Slack as a destination, you do need an add-on. But once you have it, channels in your Slack or your Slack plan does not matter. So you can do it. That's awesome. Great questions. Let's see if you have anything else. We are going to wrap up on time today. Actually, whoops, that was not what I was going to do. I do have one last question about. I wonder if sharing internal meetings as live streams will be the next step for building in public. So it's basically the whole conversation of building in public, and we'll doing what we're doing right now, basically, but just maybe a little bit more raw and like early stage, beta access version would become a thing, because you could start streaming, you can start updating and doing the demo day internally, but then eventually when you feel ready, you could just blast it on your major social channels such as YouTube and X. Do you see that happening? Do you see that coming?
I definitely would see it coming with some smaller like indie builders who are building new products very quickly with AI and building in public. And oftentimes they would have like test communities in Slack maybe, but they would also maybe want to stream it on X. I think that's a pretty nice use case there, that you have 10 people in your testing program, or maybe your coworkers. All those are on Slack. But then you also want to attract more people on social media, and this way you could like use this. We call it like a hybrid streaming scenario, where your media or your content is going out both externally and internally. I want to reiterate though that where this thing really shines is the internal use case, where people can not only engage with chat, but they can also call in. Again, everything happens inside Slack, and you don't have to really worry about the content leaking to other platforms if you just like stream it specifically to Slack, and it really stays a closed, private internal event. And one thing that we actually didn't maybe cover, and I'll just try to show it on this picture. Yes, I'll just like freeze maybe on this one. So in here, you can see that when the stream starts, you can watch live, but when it ends, you can actually watch the replay. And I want to like just stress this, how important that is, because with internal events and closed webinar events, we know that the #1 problem is low attendance. Like in general, whatever tooling you use, people just miss it for personal reasons or vacations, PTOs, or they have just like other things to do. So being able to consume content asynchronously is incredibly important. So with the live streaming part of this, we're definitely bringing the content where people already are so they can engage. But if some, and it will always happen, if some still miss it, it stays in your Slack workspace. So when the stream ends, you can just click on it as you would click right now. It's not going to show as live, it's just going to show as a recording. But within the same aspect ratio, you can just like watch the recording. And again, how in the beginning you mentioned like maybe with Zoom you would want to also see comments, but they are no longer there, and you would need to like export them, and only some people have permissions to view them, export them, and so on. And it's kind of finicky. Like you just come back from vacation, open Slack on Monday, grab a cup of coffee, find that post, play the video, and open the Slack thread as you would with any other thing that's happening on Slack. And you can, read through comments, see all the reactions, and like the whole media is like frozen in time in your Slack workspace, which I think is incredible for people to stay up to date with the internal updates.
Yeah, that is true. I believe we can now go ahead and show our little trial QR code. So if you have not tried this yet, let me actually drop this link real quick into the chat. And this from Restream is going to go on YouTube, and it goes on Slack. That's interesting.
It goes everywhere.
This is crazy. It does not go on X and LinkedIn, or maybe it does go. Yes, it does go. I don't think it went on X, or at least I don't see like a little notification for that. But maybe our co-producer today can check to see if it did publish, and if not, maybe add this link to other channels where we were not able to push from this chat right now. This is a 7-day trial, right? You can test it for free. You can see what happens. You can create your first test event into your private Slack channel. You can definitely collect any feedback that you have for us and share it. We are... we're very excited to hear how people actually use it. We would love to hear more use cases, more scenarios, more examples. If you have a small team and you're running on Slack, we would love to hear from you. If you have a bigger corporation and you're also doing streams on Slack and you probably need a little bit more help with this, maybe you need to dedicate account management, maybe you need larger, like bigger audience, something that's more than 500 viewers, you can also reach out to us and talk to our sales team. They will set you up, do private demos for you, and of course, help you pick the best path for both webinar mode and streaming into Slack for your internal comms and town halls. And leadership Ask Me Anythings, and vendor onboardings, and demo days, and so much more. So that is basically the most of today. We are actually doing well on time. We are going to...
It's incredible.
It's incredible. For the first time, we were able to finish at around the time where we are.
I just love how people are already like scanning the
QR code. I love that.
So if you miss out on this, no worries. Like basically, we've been already giving out these free trials to our existing customers. So if you go to Restream and click on a new stream, you should see a new option that says live webinar. Basically, just create one, connect Slack to it, and try a test stream, try a real stream, try whatever works for you and your colleagues. And please let us know what you think, how it works for you. How do you like the chat? What would you like to improve? We're just getting started on this, but we're super excited to like unlock this whole new opportunity of live streaming.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is true. And of course, the link is in the chat, and I see that we also added it on X and on LinkedIn. Thank you, Gleb. And we, of course, are here for you 24/7. Our live support folks can always help set you up, onboard you, or answer any questions. We do really want to hear your feedback. There are many ways to give it. Of course, we do have ideas.restream.io for feature requests and additional things that you do not see in our internal comms solution just yet that you would like to see, that's one way to communicate and upvote certain requests for us. And of course, our support team is there to take direct feedback. And our DMs are open on both LinkedIn and X. You can find both me and Matt at any time and let us know what you think. If you have any examples of streams that you did both publicly and internally, and you would like to share, we are constantly looking for more use cases. We are featuring Shopify because they are early adopters and they've been doing this high production internal comms and town halls for the longest time. But if you do something similar and you would like to share your story, we would love to amplify it because we want to show more cool examples of how people use high production internal meetings and internal calls made in Restream Studio. So let us know what you're building, what you're streaming, and how you communicate about that with your team. Right, that is pretty much a wrap. We are going to, just any closing comments before we send our thank you notes for all the amazing people that were helping us today with the stream?
Oh no, I think I'll just reiterate the feedback part. We want to hear how you use it. What's your use case? How many people do you use it with? Basically, are you streaming yourself and people are just listening, or are you not afraid to pull people in and let them call in and meet on stage and discuss things in front of the crowd? How's it all going? So if you are using Slack in your work environment and you do run live events, give this a shot. I strongly believe that the engagement of it, all the beauty of Restream Studio and the higher limits in terms of viewership, is something that will sort of make the case to really elevate your company updates and internal streams. So give it a shot and let us know what you think. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we had a lot of amazing teammates joining us today in Slack. So thank you everybody who made comments, made suggestions, helped us test Slack comments. This is actually, of course, it's been tested thoroughly, but this is the first time we're actually doing it live, publicly and internally at the same time, simultaneously streaming to YouTube and our internal Slack marketing channel. So thank you everyone who jumped in there. This was really awesome. Thank you, Grant, to our moderator in YouTube. He was helping folks in YouTube. You're always doing a great work. Today on our live clipping, we actually did not have a person because we're using auto posting, our new feature that allows us to create the best highlights and post them automatically based on the criteria that we set. For example, 8 or higher virality score, certain duration, certain orientation, and certain type of layouts. So today we did not have anybody on clipping, and yet we were posting our highlights on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. So check those out. Cool. First time. I have not seen those yet because obviously I'm here, but I can't wait to see our highlights. AI. Yeah, we trust the system that we created, our workflow. And I am going to poll results. Yes, great question. I am going to look at YouTube one more time and see what is the final poll results. We have 17 votes. That's 17. And 47% said yes on do you use Slack at work, and 53% said no. So it is still a very even. Remember how, in the beginning, how we were like, what if it's 0? It's nobody would Slack, but it's not. A lot of people are using it, and that's amazing to hear and amazing to see. And since we're talking about internal communications, internal production, we also have big thanks to our behind-the-scenes producer. Today was Gleep, and we are going to, once I get my mouse back, we are going to pull him right in to the show so he can go ahead and say hi. Hello, Gleep. You're muted, but you can unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for such a wonderful stream. It's a pleasure to be not only a co-producer for the first time, but also just enjoy and observe this wonderful topic. And I'm really looking forward to our customers using it.
Was it easy to co-produce? So this is actually really interesting, first experience. So if you are streaming from Studio into Slack for internal comms, you probably need someone like Gleep to come in and actually help you produce, help you manage things, help you manage comments, help you manage guests and attendees, right? Was it relatively straightforward for you? You don't do that every day.
Yeah. I would say it was quite easy. I mean, we obviously posted the we had a post in our internal Slack channel before, and actually this time quite many teammates started engaging, so it was fascinating to see such engagement. But apart from that, from the co-producer point of view, it was relatively easy, so highly recommend using it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for keeping things together, for pinning our chats today, and being our behind-the-scene producer. And this is a wrap. So thank you all. We'll see you next Wednesday. And go ahead and try using Slack for your internal comms and Restream Studio as your production tool. It's going to be a really beautiful all hands next time you do it. Right? Cheers.